everybody. Welcome to our webinar. My name is Majid Al-Qadir. I'm the CEO of AmplifyFE and the co-founder of Metaverse Training. I'm delighted to be hosting today's session. Thank you all for joining us. Before we begin, just to kind of a bit of housekeeping, just to kind of explain, this webinar is being recorded, so we will share that with you and others who could not attend today. And we're also going to share with you our slides, including any video clips you see within our presentation. We'll be hosting a Q&A session at the end of the webinar, but please feel free to post any questions you have during the session, or you can wait until the end of our sessions. I'm delighted to be joined by my colleagues from New City College Group and Harlow College. They will introduce themselves to you later on. I had the privilege of working closely with both teams to develop their metaverses, which again, that will be shared today with you, which are immersive experiences designed to help and engage and attract and advise the students to explore future potential careers. So just to kind of set the scene here, we're going to mention the word metaverse a few times, and this is basically based on a metaverse hub we developed by Metaverse Training and MX Reality, which is like an online community hub to allow students, parents, teachers, advisors, employers to all get into that space, and they can communicate with each other to help the students. So our speakers today will share their insight, experience, and the impact they kind of seen from using the latest online metaverses. I'll leave that to them to share that with you. So I want us to that from them. But after the two presentation happen, I will come and share with you about exciting development, how we can take what we've done so far into the next phase, which is what we call it our careers first. So I'll share with you the insight and what we developed so far within that kind of platform. So let's kind of start. Let's get started. I would like now to hand over to our first guest speaker, Sandro Davis from New City College Group. Sam, I'll just share my screen so you can all hopefully can see that. Let me just make sure I'm going to click on the right screen and share. Okay, all yours.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, just about everyone. Good to see you here. As Majid said, my name is Sam Davies. I'm the Programme Director for the Construction Technical Excellence College at New City College. New City College, for those who don't know, is I think the largest outstanding provider in the country. We've got about 35,000 students spread across 10 campuses in London and Essex. And this is something that we developed as part of our work on the local skills improvement plan in the central London region. I'm pleased to see that my colleague Pete Monday is on the call. He did a lot of the work here directly with MX Reality and Metaverse. So I'm glad he's here so he can take the credit that he deserves for pioneering this work. So to introduce the hub, before we show you the video of it, how did this come about? It came about through the Local Skills Improvement Plan, which, as many of you will know, is the current way of getting business skills needs in 41 different regions of the country, having a clear analysis and a clear picture of what's needed around those skills needs. And one of the key ones in the central London region was around green skills, that cross-cutting skill around green skills, and needing to know what are green skills, what is net zero, what is retrofit, all of those things. So we had a problem, and how do we do that? And one of the things that we did, amongst lots of other different courses that we launched, other resources that we created and so on, was that we thought, let's design a different way of doing careers education, a different way of getting information, advice and guidance out there through a different platform, and that is through the metaverse. So we worked, our partnership in central London was a partnership of 16 skills providers. And we worked with Metaverse to develop this innovative way of doing that. And we contracted Metaverse and worked closely with them and our partners to design this digital campus for us, where users are not just reading a PDF, they're not just watching videos, but there is something when you are moving around this campus which looks realistic. And there are lots of different ways that you can engage, which from a learning pedagogy perspective was important for us because we wanted to have that engagement with people. So Bridge and Metaverse worked together to do that, but not just ourselves. We wanted to work together to make sure that the content was right up to date and that it was what it should be to represent the green skills emerging sector. So we worked with organisations like MCS, the Micro Certification Scheme. We worked with BSLIA, we worked with CITB, Your Energy, Your Way, and others to be able to get that expert content in place, so we could be certain that what we'd created was the right information, not just for representing one company, but their part of the green skills sector. And on the next slide, thank you. Just talk a little bit then about the impact that this has had. So as I mentioned, our partnership is one of 16 schools, colleges, sixth forms, ITPs, and a charity. But we have thrown this out wider. We didn't want this to be just a resource that is used only by us, because we know that actually a lot of the information, because it's created by experts, that it's up to date across green skills and it would be relevant for lots of provision in England. So we haven't put it behind a paywall or behind some kind of partnership screen. It's on our Bridge Skills website. I don't think I've got that on the slides actually, so that's an oversight. So if you want to have a look at and see where that is, it's on our bridge-skills.london website under resources. And that's available then for colleges across London to be able to use, for schools, for careers hubs, for councils, for employers. And we're seeing that a lot of those are using that, and we're getting really positive feedback about the fact that it's an innovative way that schools can do that kind of careers advice. What do you want to do next? Is it work? Is it work-based learning? Is it going to college? Well, have a look at this. You might not know, most people don't know what we mean by green skills. So you can come on and you can have a look at this campus, and it breaks down a lot of those skills. What is retrofit? What's net zero? And what are the specific roles? What are the specific courses that you might want to do to be able to pursue some really good jobs that earn well and have got a good long-term potential, but also importantly for lots of younger people today that are going to have a positive impact, being part of a sector that's doing something around one of these global crises that everyone can see is happening today. So as you can see there, so far, I think we launched this just before the summer, and so far we've had just over 1,100 visits and the average visit duration of over 20 minutes, which, having been involved in a number of these sorts of projects before, that's a good duration. It's not people logging in, having a quick look around and just kind of bookmarking it, or even worse, thinking this isn't for me. That's a really good duration for that number of people. And obviously, what we're hoping through speaking on this webinar is that all of those who are hearing this and hearing the recording, they'll think that this looks good, this looks interesting, and that you will then be the people who spread this within your organisation and make sure that those doing careers education are aware of what we're creating here. So please support us to get the word out. Obviously, all of this content is up to date now, but it very quickly goes out of date. So please don't delay. Share this with your networks, so you can help us to spread the news of this campus. Majid, I think you're going to bring up the video now so that everyone can have a look and see it for themselves.
Okay, I will share the video, but then I can very quickly after video, to go through the browser and show you how we can actually navigate the environment. So I'm going to start the video now.
Thank you.
This virtual environment will show you some of the changes that are taking place to ensure homes and other buildings are much more energy efficient than they have been in the past. And
So, Sam, if you like, I can, unless you want to cover it yourself, just explain about the different zones, if you like, within the environment. So how we
Sure. Yeah, I
build.
was just going to let the audio run first, and
While
then I
you'll
think
also
it
find out about the
comes to
range
the
of green
reception.
skills jobs that are available in the construction industry.
Thank you. So this is going into one of the areas now around green skills, and you can see that in every area there are 3 rooms within it. So this is a good place to start here, where you've got lots of different specific jobs, and within the campus you can go up and you can have a look and you can ask a question. So this one here of the retrofit assessor gives you a bit more information about what that role is. Lots of different kind of semi-tactile things as you're moving around this room. And then within each of these lobbies, there's a training room, so you can practically find out, in this case, what's the example of an apprentice. And this is a fantastic apprentice called Georgia, who's involved in some really interesting work. And again, wanted to do that because she wanted to be part of a positive future. This one here is almost a dystopian room, and I love this. It's, on the one side you've got heat problems, and then in the middle you've got what happens if London is under so much water, and then you've got these questions again about retrofit. So exiting that room, now going into the low carbon energy space, again 3 rooms within this area, and you've got your home of the past, where again you see your pre-retrofitted house, you see your diesel van, you see your windows and the old appliances. Can ask questions about these. And then as you look around, you see what so much of our homes of the past. We know that the UK has got some of the oldest housing stock in Europe. Again, back into the training room, you can see some of the other stands and other videos that you can have a look at from some of these industry partners. COTB, MCS, and then I think we're going on the other side. We're going into the home of the future now then. So a new build, which has got your solar PV, it's got your heat pumps in there, you've got your insulation, solar heating on the roof. So for people who don't know much about that, you can just learn about that, just kind of one piece of technology at a time. Electric vehicle next to there as well. So a really interesting way of drawing together lots of those things in one package. Asking a question again about solar PV. So now into the 3rd room, which is the buildings area. We've got the new build home on the left and the training room, and then on the right-hand side, we've got a retrofitted home. So this is the same home of the past, which is now being retrofitted. And we've got some of the skills that are needed then. And we have a look inside the house around how you can retrofit some of that old housing stock that we've got in the UK. Again, in London, we've got a lot of these old buildings, and you have to know very specific skills around how you can do things like your ventilation, which is your kind of normal kitchen fan, but then in the ceiling, you've got your mechanical ventilation. And then on the other side of the training room, you've got your new build home. Again, there's a bite out of this room, so you can see the insulation. I think in this part of the video, we're going to go inside, have a look inside the house. And there's a bite out here that talks about the kind of insulation that they'll do in a new house. So lots of detail in each of the different rooms to help people to understand what the skills differences are because of the green skills revolution, because of the need for us as a country to get to that net zero target. But as I say, it's a start. There's so much more that we can do in that space, and things that we didn't show in the video there actually. is that we're iterating, we're continuing to
Welcome to
improve
the
the
Green Skills
campus.
Digital Campus.
So we've recently
This
added
virtual environment
a place to be able to find green skills jobs through the Net Zero Career Accelerator. So this is something that we're continuing to develop. So as I say, as Majid just takes us in now to actually show us how you actually do walk around the campus, please do make use of this. Please do come back to us with feedback on how we can continue to improve it.
Sam, yeah, thank you. Just a kind of worth mentioning in here, I'm in my own in this environment, but if we all attend this session online, we will see each other character and we'll be able to have a group chat, one-to-one chat. So it's more like become a community type of thing. So if you have someone from your organization standing in there, waiting for the student, waiting for the parents, as soon as you come there, they can welcome them and have a chat. I'm using a mouse or a keyboard to walk around, so I don't need any special hardware. As Sam said, we will share the link with you, so you just be able to walk around, hold the mouse, and then just look left and right, up and down, and then interact with any item by getting closer to it. You'll find a QR code within the environment. I will encourage you to get your mobile phone out and scan the QR code, because that will bring some AR for you, where you can take objects from the screen, augmented in your own environment within your own room. Okay, thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Majid. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Sam, for that information. Appreciate that. So I'm going to introduce now Julian. Julian, I'll let you to introduce yourself and then explain about the project.
Excellent. Thanks, Majid. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Majid, for inviting me along today to talk to you about some of the work that we've been doing. I think it's probably for a good couple of years now. My name is Julian Sample. I'm Executive Director of Business Development at Harlow College in Essex. We've been working with MX Reality on two projects. First one was to create a 3D airport environment, and the second one was, as you can see from the image there, a much bigger project, which was on IAG, using a city landscape and therefore covering much more sectors than just aviation. I'm going to touch on both, but I'm going to use the aviation environment as a bit more of a detailed case study. This was something that we proposed as part of the Reach for the Sky project. You may have heard about that. It's funded by the CAA and the DFT. It's been running for a few years. Aviation is growing rapidly and has some significant recruitment needs. The idea of the Reach for the Sky project is to inspire the next generation of aviation professionals. So we've got a campus at Stansted Airport. Aviation is one of our specialist areas. So we thought, okay, this is a good opportunity for us to create something that's actually going to resolve some of the difficulties that we know young people face in accessing information on careers in aviation. In particular, what we were trying to focus on is that idea of broadening young people's understanding of what's involved in aviation. So when people come to us, I would probably say that there are 5 roles that are the really kind of top ones that people are interested in. Obviously, the top 2 of those are going to be pilots and cabin crew, the 2 that are the most visible to people. So what we were thinking is that, okay, we want to try and broaden this out. We want to make sure that people who are using the hub, people who are at school, people who we're inviting along to open days, they can really see the breadth of roles that there are. One of the things that kind of was the inspiration behind it was somebody we work with at Manchester Airports Group was saying, just about any job that you can think of can or does take place in an airport. One of the things I thought, well, this beauty technician, and actually, yes, it does, because duty free, they're the people that you can do makeup or spa and all that kind of thing in your first class lounges. So yeah, it's that idea of actually making people think that they're like mini villages. So yeah, trying to make sure that people understand, look, we're talking about more than just cabin crew, pilots, engineers. At the very beginning, what we were looking for was an idea of a product that's going to engage and motivate people. We wanted to be able to provide information in a range of formats. The idea being that, okay, you can capture an element of information, something that's going to perhaps inspire you to then seek out more information. So there's opportunities within the hub to then signpost you to other places where you can perhaps do a little bit more research on things. But the thing that was most important to us was accessibility. The idea was, let's try and make something that the majority of people, or more people than with other methods that are available, can access. So we were obviously conscious of the fact that, you know, you've got there's digital accessibility needed, but let's try and broaden this out and cover as many different areas within aviation as we can. So we met with Majid and his team. You kind of forward wind a few months of meetings, toing and froing. The team there are incredibly creative, and the end result was the Reach for the Sky metaverse, which you can see the video running through there. The idea was clearly to create a mock airport. I think we succeeded in that. And I think it's that, to a certain extent, that wow factor when you first go in is really important. And actually, yes, it does capture some imagination. And like I say, you're going to be motivated to want to have a little look around there. But you can't rely on that. And I think particularly with this aviation area, we were really conscious that, okay, you've got people in, and the first 10 seconds is, you know, this is interesting, I want to move around and have a little look around what's available. But the content needs to be rich. The content itself needs to be interesting in a variety of different formats. We were really lucky on the project to also have Motor here working with us. He is someone called the Aviation Guy. You might have seen him on social media. If you haven't, check him out. If you've got an interest in aviation, or you know people who want to work in aviation, then definitely have a look at some of his stuff, because he's very good at explaining certain things. So he did a series of videos for us, which we then embedded into the site. There's a range of them. They're just an extra little bit to give a little bit more information to try and keep people engaged. Better than just, you know, downloading a PDF or clicking through to another video. So we really did try and keep as wide a range of things as we possibly can. And that would be my advice to you, really, is if you progress and you are doing things like this, it's really try and keep that content engaging. The wider the range, the better. And I think Sam touched on it there as well. It's keeping it refreshed. I mean, something that we're aware of is, and it's difficult because you kind of got to be sensible about how often you're going to do this, but everything needs a little bit of a revamp. So you've got your structure, but it's then, I suppose it's like a house, isn't it? You build your house, but then you need to put things on the wall and decorate it and furnish it and change things around every now and then. So yeah, that's our kind of approach to that. We were relatively constrained by budget. What we had available wasn't particularly large. What you can see there in the Aviation Hub, I think, is a relatively basic version of what's available compared to what can actually be achieved. We have a second phase. I think after we do a second phase, we'll probably have a third, fourth, fifth phase planned. We just need some funding to help us realise those ideas. You know, I mean, we want to, and as you can see, you know, you can increase the size of your environments. You can add in different areas, different functions. Again, I think you saw from the Green Skills one, something that we really like the idea of is, you know, you're walking around and there are people that you can approach. So you see a pilot or armed police walking around that you can stop, and either there's pre-prepared questions and answers, or you can interact with them. I think that takes it again to the next level. Something we were really interested in doing, and I think is a fantastic option if you're able to, is the live auditorium. Now, our purpose behind that, or thinking behind that, was we have employees that come in and talk to our groups of students. So if you imagine an airline come in and talk about what it's like to be cabin crew, and they can talk to 20, 25, 30 students at one time. What we were hoping is actually, look, let's put that talk live into the auditorium. You know, instead of 30 students looking at that, you can have 10 times that, whatever you want, whatever you can get access to. And then the time spent perhaps going to individual classes or around individual institutions delivering that same talk could then be spent on following up with people, having more detailed conversations about careers, pathways, progression opportunities with individuals rather than with groups of people. So perhaps again, it's a more efficient and effective use of time. We did have questions when we were rolling this out to people and to different organisations and people. We have a college aviation network that we run. People did ask, you know, about security. We have open access. You have to register, but as long as you provide certain details, you can get in. But what we've got is the messaging and the interaction between people turned off. So if everybody went in there now, you can see each other walking around, but you can't directly interact with those people. But what you can do, which I think is a really good function, is you can obviously turn that on and off. And if you're doing what we've done in the past, is say an open evening and you've got people accessing the aviation hub or your own hub, and you've got staff in there as well, then you can control it a little bit more. So we have the messaging turned on then, and that does work really well. I think now, Majid, did you show the Career Central one? If not, click on that video and I'll... This is significantly bigger. So this was actually funded in a similar way to the Green Skills one was. So this was funded through the Local Skills Improvement Fund, the Greater Essex one. So really focused on trying to make sure that young people and adults in Greater Essex have got somewhere where they can find out about information on next steps. So we did, at the moment, this is really catered towards people who are perhaps looking at that next step after school. So, you know, people who might be in years 9, 10 and 11. So you've got some kind of basic information on different types of provision. That's a leaderboard, so there's gamification. I'll talk about that. So is that coming up now, in fact? So we added a little game. Here you can work your way around the city area, collecting coins, and it tells you a little fact around Essex. I think with gamification, I think that really it's a good way of engaging people, and again, is a nice way, and it's motivating. But you need to make sure that it needs to be thought through, and what you don't want is people coming on here just to play the game and then disappear. Obviously, that isn't the purpose of it. We really want people to then be able to get that IAG, some information about what they might be able to then go on to. So this really was a much bigger project with significantly more sectors. I think here what we haven't got is the depth and breadth of resources within the different sites, and it's in progress. These things, you know, at what point in time do you, I suppose it's like the fourth bridge, isn't it? By the time it's finished, you need to start again at the beginning. So yes, we're constantly putting things in here, trying to roll it out, trying to refresh it, keep things up to date and relevant. And I think Sam touched on that relevancy thing as well. That's the whole point of things. You've got to make sure that something isn't out of date. So we covered quite a few different sectors in here. And it, you know, not all of these resources are things that we've created. It's signposting people to the wealth of information that's available out there. You know, what's the point in reinventing the wheel? What we want to do is create something that engages people and then provides them that information. And certainly these jobs of the week and my pop videos are really good at giving basic information to people about different roles. And then again, you've got, like, that's showing that opportunity to then signpost back to the colleges. So because this was part of the Greater Essex Local Skills Improvement Fund, part of FedEx, you've got there the links to the colleges within Essex. And I think these things are incredibly engaging. Like I say, the accessibility, we've been really surprised. Although from the aviation one more so, but something that's surprising is, even though this is for Greater Essex, you don't have to be living in Greater Essex to access this. And we found that from a geographical standpoint, the places that people are coming from and visiting the two hubs is incredible. I think we had a few people in the aviation one from Saudi Arabia, from all over. So it's nice to see that we're not just keeping things local. I think to conclude, the products are what we hope that they would be. We are getting good engagement. Young people are feeding back positively on them. Are they perfect? Do they solve everything? No, but do they work towards making sure that young people have got more information? Do we think that it's more accessible than what we're able to provide from our college? Yes. So we're really pleased with them. And as Sam said, by all means, please visit these and give feedback. We're really pleased with them. Back to you, Majid.
Thank you, Julian. Thank you so much for that. That's wonderful. Great insight. I hope you enjoyed the video clips. So I'm going to kind of now share with you about, if you like, the next phase. So we've been really fortunate and lucky that we work with people like Julian and Sam and their colleagues to develop what we did. But that is kind of we've been creative in this industry for a long time. So based on feedback we had from our partners, and there have been other partners involved, and then it's more about everyone kind of pushing us while I'm kind of take it into the next level. So listening to feedback by students, by parents, by a variety of people, we created what we call it now the Careerverse, which is the next stage, if you like, on what we've seen so far. So just really quickly to explain about what Careerverse, and I'll try to wrap that up within 10 minutes, so we move to the Q&A. So the challenges really is more about the younger generation, about trying to understand where they go in life, what the career they can take, what career pathway they can take. I have two girls in that kind of age where they don't know what to do, and then the career advice they had from school is not being the best. So it's more about how can we create that platform to allow them to communicate with others, communicate with career advisors, with employers, with education providers, and so on. And then you've got the second problem is really from the point of view of employers. There's a big gap in industry. There's a sector, how you can attract sector attraction to their industries. So that's what we thought Careerverse would do that for everybody. So we took time to develop this. We have consultation with 30 different type of organizations, including New City College and Harlow College. And then we presented this we've been invited to present to the innovation technology at the Parliament, and the feedback was amazing. So I'm going to share with you now how we move that into the next stage. So the best thing to do is to show you a couple of video clips here. So what we did in this kind of based on the environment we had, we created, if I share with you this video first.
Hi there, I'm Aisha. It's great to meet you.
So we created here, I'm going to pause that for a second. We created a career advisor. And the career advisor here, she's an AI character. So we programmed her, we put her all the kind of knowledge about career advisors. So she either could be, if someone lucky, they know what they do in their life, they're going to go and ask our career advisor. If not, she will do an analysis about you as a person, what you like, what your hobbies, what you kind of think and interest. And she will give you advice about what area you should explore. So let me just go back to it. If I start this video again.
Hi there, I'm Aisha. It's great to meet you. I'm here to help you figure out your next steps, no matter where you're starting from.
This is how we start.
So, tell me a little about yourself. What are you interested in?
I'm not entirely sure. I guess I like problem solving.
Here, if they're not sure about that, and they can have audio chat. And then
that's a great start. Are there any specific activities?
So basically, I can say, well, my name is Majid, can you help me? And then she will talk to me in my name, so it becomes more personal to me as a student or as an adult who kind of looking for a career change in life. So that conversation, it could last as long as the student or the end person looking for, so they could continue with that chat until they satisfied with that. So if I fast forward the video just to kind of show you, so once you've done that, she will say to you, you don't want to go and explore this on this city view. So you go and explore the different jobs available, the different career pathways you can have. So that's the platform we are developed and developing. So this is an ongoing kind of project. And the idea, you can look at all the different pathways you can get within a city view. And the idea that you want to explore this, so you can click on industry. So I'm going to show you what we did for example, Harlow College, and how we moved into the next
Welcome
stage.
to the airport. My name is Mohammed
In every sector we created, you see there, you will have that sector. Here, for example, an airport, again, we've got our friend here, Mo, he'll tell you about the industry. Then I will have an AI, my AI character will be in aviation only. So I can only ask a question about aviation, nothing else. This is how we developed it. So it's no open source. We have to be done by specific people tell us with that. So if I select other sector like manufacturing or healthcare, then rather than an airport, you have that environment and you have an AI character talk to you. We made the AI character as well. You can speak to her in different languages. She will detect about what you speak to her and she will switch back to that language. So just to make it kind of available in different ways. The idea, you can walk around the airport, you can see other people, you can talk to them. If I can fast forward the video here because it's a long video, again, very similar to what we've done before. You can find the different jobs available, what we've done before. So that is, again, recreated that environment, but we added the AI to it. The other kind of thing, which is, I'm sure you agree with me, the confusion about what, for example, what T-level means and what apprenticeship and what HE and what FE. And that is from not only for the students, but for the parents as well. So what we did in here, within the career pathway, we created the sector, we created the education pathway. So you can look at each education pathway, click on a video, talk to people that will tell you more about each different way. Third part in this, which is really important, which is additional to what we've done already for Harlow City College, you will go into the hub, which is more, we did it more like an exhibition area, and that can go and look at information. This is live jobs, what the sector looking for, what the average salary available, how many jobs are required in the next, for example, 10, 15 years. And what we did in here, we created sub areas like you see in there. And then the idea is we will let anybody who would like to have a space, we give them a username and password, and they can control their own area. So if someone walking into that area, they can either request a meeting, so they can do it through our platform, or if someone's standing in there, they will see my character and they will see my name and they will welcome me into that stand, and I can have one-to-one chat, or if we are a group of us, we can chat. So we created different stands area you can control. You can have a smaller stand, you can have what we call it our medium stand. So in this case, there are more control. The moment I pass that line, then I'm going to go into that zone of that kind of organization, and they will have information about how many people went there, what they've downloaded, and so on. We created, for interest, if someone wanted to have their own area, so we created a whole hall here. Again, this character, by the way, speak to me in, I can speak to in Arabic. She answered me in Arabic. And you see very shortly, I will switch in English, and she will switch back to me in English immediately. Speaking all kind of languages. Really clever. All right, so basically I can tell that, but the whole branding could be done within 2-3 hours. Organization have their own brand, so that is more about subletting, like just like in real life, small, medium, and large hall. Something Julia mentioned earlier about how you can have reaching out to bigger target audience by having, for example, webinar and auditorium. So one of the things we created within our hub, so if I fast forward that again just a little bit, you can see you can go into auditorium where you can present live webinar. And then the beauty about this, we were not going to lose any video, anything that recorded within that, people, speakers, for example, from industry, we will have it as on-demand video and make it available as a resource for anybody to access that. So we're going to make that hub available to be free of charge to every school in the country, because we want everyone to benefit from it. But obviously, we have to kind of cover the cost a little bit to build this environment, and that is going to be by subletting these spaces. So that's kind of one we've done on the kind of aviation. But then we did this new project with inside area. This is about adult kind of people looking for jobs. So this is the area of interest within the seaside area. Again, very similar kind of idea. I walk around using the mouse and keyboard and then understand what's happening job-wise. But then what we done within the hub in the construction, you can see what that means. They've got a job board in there, which is controlled not by us. You give the username and password to the Job Center Plus, where they can update the latest job available, or we can link it to a job board available online. So the idea is that you can walk around, find out about the job, explore it, understand it, and then you will give you more about that information. And then look at, for example, then say, okay, that's actually not for me. What about pipe fitters? What does pipe fitters do? What about electrician would do? What welders would do? So I just basically walk around the hub and explore. So again, if I fast forward the video for you, you will have access to all these videos, by the way, so you can see them later on in your own time. So again, very similar kind of thing. And once you've done exploring the welder and the construction manager and so on, you will go into our hub environment. If I just fast forward here, and then you find our friend here, our career advisor, where you can speak to her. Again, she'll advise you. And once you've done that, chat with her. She'll tell you about what college you can go. And then you go into say, okay, I want to kind of explore, for example, in construction or engineering, and that will show you the nearest colleges to you about where you can go and study the kind of course and get what you need. So you can go there and understand more about that. So that's what we did. And we are building sector by sector. So you can see there are a number of sectors we've done. Green skills, we've done a new one. We do rail. Variety. We're going to try to cover every sector, digital and so on. But what makes that powerful in our system, in our opinion, is we developed that not only by listening to experts in this field. We listen to students. For example, this video, again, I'm more than happy to share with you. And this is genuinely nothing scripted in this video. And then basically, the students, they will tell you about what they kind of believe and what they've seen in this kind of one platform, how it benefit them. And then we've learned a lot from them about things like they told us what they would like, they don't like as target audience, and things like they talked about, for example, like how they have anxiety if they speak to, in real life, to a career advisor. But finding the AI character, they find it really helpful, very useful. They even said they are actually more they're friendlier than their career advisors, and then we'll give them that kind of all information they need and access to any industry by press the button. So again, we will share that video, and then you can go and watch and see what students have been saying about this. So this is basically what we do in the Careerverse. We would like anybody to come on board and share that with us and work with us in partnership. Without the partnership, we will not make that possible. Once that has been done, we can then launch it into different things. Just one more thing to share with you. We are building as well metaverses. So, for example, you can build either a metaverse where you can have your own digital twin of a college or university. Or something like this, for example, a generic one where students can go there, look at what the college or university or the ITP offer, to ask, you can have a chat, access the courses, but more importantly, a part of exploration and look at the thing, you can go into a classroom and you can have live teaching. So, for example, a teacher can go there, write on the whiteboard, all the students around wherever they are in the world, they can see what the teacher is doing and they're writing on the whiteboard. The teacher as well can share, just like I'm doing here in Zoom and Team. You can share a screen, you can share part of a slide, and then with your students. So students can see exactly what you do. This is a great feature if you can do that in real life, which is great. You can mute all the students by press a button. I know it doesn't work in like real life, but you basically can mute them all, and then you can share with them the presentation. If any students have a question, they can raise their hand just like in real life, and you give them a way they talk to you. And then all the students can hear what is going on in there. So this is the future. This is the new way of doing things. and hopefully you could see the benefit of such solution. So I'm going to start. I'm just conscious about time, so I'm not going to get any questions you have next time. But I will share the slide. You'll find our information in there. If you want to be part of our Careerverse, we will welcome to have you on board in that. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I will see if any question been raised. And then I think we have our colleague there to see if any question be raised by Sarah.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you very much to all our speakers, and thank you, Majid, for leading the conversation. I think
Sarah,
really interesting insights into how that metaverse product can be used for careers and for skills.
I don't know if you can hear Sarah or not, or is it only me?
Sorry, you okay?
Yeah. Sarah, maybe switch your video off because we can't hear you well. I think the quality of your maybe.
Is that right? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me a little better now?
Yeah, no,
sorry about that. Just thank you very much to all our speakers, and thank you for your insights into how we're using Metaverse Hub for careers and skills guidance. We'd welcome any of you to pop a question into the chat, and we can pose questions to each of our speakers. I think one interesting question would be to Sam and to Julian. What feedback have you had from your students so far, and how they're using it and how they're finding it?
I can pick that one up to start off with, and it's been really positive. I think there's a difference between kind of what I think as someone who's not 16, 17, 18 years old, and what I think is impressive and all that kind of thing, and what might be new to me compared to them. But I mean, we involved students in the design. So we kind of trialed things with them. What do they think would be better? What wouldn't they like to see? And so they help kind of design and refine, I suppose, is a better term to help us get to the final stage. But yeah, feedback has been really positive. They enjoy the different types of media. They enjoy the fact that it's taking them, if they want somewhere else, that they can then kind of look into things in a little bit more detail. Importantly, one of the questions that we asked our students, having in kind of focus group situations, so they've been into the area, after they've been in there, okay, have you learned anything? And they often said yes. So whether it's from one of the videos, from one of the PDFs, whatever it might be, from something, has that been a worthwhile activity? How are you able to say that actually your knowledge has grown from having spent 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 seconds in that area? And pleasingly, they said yes. So we're always looking for how we can develop it further, but yeah, certainly at the moment, feedback is certainly very positive from the learners.
That's fantastic to hear. How about you, Sam?
Yeah, I'll add on to that. I fully agree with everything Gillian said. I think the thing I'd add on to that is the fact that the learners are in control. It's a really nice thing that they can go where they want to. They can focus on this room or that room. They can click on a panel if that particular area is interesting to them, and if it's not, then they don't need to. So it puts them in touch, in control of their learning, which I think is a really nice thing. And we don't often have the ability to do that with the sort of numbers that you'll often have in a group size. So that's a powerful thing about this particular medium.
Fantastic. I think we're still a little quiet in the chat, so I think another question would be, what did you both find? I'll start with you, Sam, while you're on. What did you find was your biggest challenge when creating this kind of environment, and how did you kind of overcome that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think we one of the challenges we had was how to structure a campus like this. One of our early ideas was to have 4 rooms, and so we were going to be doing it a little bit more around things like we might have had a transportation area, we might have had a power area, and actually as we got that expert industry input that I talked about, and as we scoped it out more, it was clear that actually there would be too much overlap, and so it really form had to follow, or function had to follow form, or I'm getting it the wrong way around. I think you know the point I'm making. The metaverse team were able to work with us to make sure that the design of it was right, so that it wasn't go into one room and you're learning a similar thing to the past room. That had to be clearly scoped out, and the industry advisors were able to help us with that, but metaverse were as well. And so now what we've got is we have got something where each room is separate. There's one room where the home of the past looks similar at first, but then the way of interacting with it is very different from that old home to now that home is being retrofitted, and you can go inside and you can learn about the changes. So I'd say that was one of the big challenges. How do you make sure that this really works for anyone who's going to use it?
Fantastic, thank you. And how about you, Gillian?
Yeah, just trying to. I mean, we had a few challenges. I think the one that perhaps overlaps across the 2 environments is the. I'm not a technically minded person with this type of thing. So for me and a couple of colleagues, I think what we were worried about was being able to get across our ideas. You know, we had in our minds what we thought it might look like. And then it's about whether we were very good at explaining that, describing that, putting that perhaps into words. But what we found incredibly useful were the support that we got. So Francis and his team were really good at listening to what we were saying, and then, you know, asking us questions, asking us to try and find images of what we were meaning, or what we kind of were talking about, and then they went off and designed something and then came back to us. So I think that was certainly a challenge in the aviation one, but less so, because an airport is an airport. So you know, trying to keep our ideas as well refined to what we were able to do was something that they certainly helped us do. But that challenge was 10 times as big when you're then talking about the Career City. And I think you can see from both of those, and especially the Career City one, that actually the creativity that has gone into creating something like that is absolutely incredible. And the end result was far better than any of us actually thought was possible. And not just the design of it, but, you know, the way that with the careers one, you go in and you're looking down, and the nice little touches of things like the airplane taking off, and the hot air balloon and all those types of things. It was really impressive, and down to that support that we got from MX Reality, and I think just the open discussion, it was really pleasing.
It's a team effort, absolutely. I mean, I think with this kind of design, it has to be by the technical expert, by people like you, by the creative, but more importantly, by the learners as well, by the students, because we need their feedback. That's what we listen to them. So with that, I think this is what certain projects fail, because you develop by expert, but actually they don't take in account what the end user are going to say. Having everyone engaged as a team, this is how it could be the best way to overcome challenges like this. Totally agree. Sarah, any more questions?
That's fantastic. I think there's just a question just being dropped in the chat for Julian. You mentioned trying to find funding to continue the work. Are the funders understanding the value, and that innovation requires creative thinking from funders?
Yeah, good question. Difficult one to answer. I mean, from a personal opinion, I think there's not as much money in the sector as we'd like. The other thing is things are just getting so much more competitive. So yeah, we think that, I don't know if it's a problem of convincing people about the worth of it. I think the data, the evidence, just the product itself demonstrates that. Certainly that hasn't been a challenge for us. The challenge for us has been just finding or being successful, because it is competitive, being successful with opportunities for funding. And unfortunately I think that's probably going to continue for a while. And until we get some changes just generally in funding, we'll just have to keep chipping away and trying to find funding where we can.
Absolutely, that makes sense. Thank you, Julian. I think we're close to the finish now, but I guess one last question for Majid. The Careersverse is an incredible project, and it looks like it's going to be fantastic for students and for organisations to get involved in. Will you be able to share? How can organisations get involved and find out more about Careersverse?
Yeah, sure. It's a good question. I mean, the funding always going to be a problem. I don't know how that difficult is. So one of the kind of beauty about what we develop, it's all based on a platform. That platform being created, so there's no cost on this. We kind of been fortunate over the last 25 years. We created so many different assets to allow us create things really cost effectively wise. So to take part of our Careerverse is really to get in touch with us. We will give you very, very, very affordable space within our environment, which is going to be small stand or medium stand or large stand. So rather than you pay a lot of money, you can build your stand within a day, and then controlled by your marketing team without the knowledge of being a developer. And that's how we're going to make it affordable, by all working together rather than individually for each individual college. Work together to have that. So I'm more than happy to provide idea about costing, but the costing could be from as little as £1,500 per year to about £7,000-8,000 per year to take part of that. It depends on the space you would take within our environment.
Fantastic. Thank you, Majid. I think that brings us to pretty close to 1 o'clock.
Okay. Sarah, thank you. So I just want to wrap up. I would say to extend my sincere thank you to everyone who joined us today, and a special thanks to our speaker, to Sam and Julian, for sharing their insight and forward thinking to work in that. It's been a great journey with you, and hopefully we can work with you and others to to help our young generation. We appreciate your time. Well, as I said, we will provide the recording later on and a slide deck. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and looking forward to connecting with you again very soon. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, everyone.